Axiom of Choice by Literally Mad Lad on AO3. Episode 6, Chapter 3, WWE Wrestling Match with a Merman. Please, Kachan, I need to talk to you. Kachan raised 4 fingers up to his chin. Then talk. I shouldn't have fought you the other day. Izuku said. I shouldn't have fought you the other day. Izuku said. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry for coming here. I was worried something might have happened and that you needed help. Kachan said nothing. He went on staring at the wall, and the more Izuku talked, the less he looked at Izuku. He shifted away, at which point Izuku's signs went unread. Desperate, Izuku touched a gloved hand to Katsuki's shoulder. Katsuki shot up with a snarl, his pupils contracted into pinholes. Teeth blared. Izuku startled, heart racing. He could hear his panicked breaths across the oxygen mask. His hands were in front of him, bracing for impact. Kachan's bright red eyes blinked, pupils relaxed within seconds, and a moment later, he slithered out from the shelf and away from Izuku. The spine of his tail vanished before Izuku could straighten his headlamp. Suffice to say, Izuku returned to the surface without success. Momo had been on the blink of calling law enforcement, as if they wouldn't go to prison for illegally adopting an endangered species. I cannot believe you, she seethed as he climbed back aboard the dock. You were down there for over 30 minutes. I saw Kachan, Izuku said, panting. Great! You're lucky you still got an arm. He's depressed. Oh, aren't we all? She wailed, arms in the air. She dropped them over her head when Izuku merely stared at her. She shrugged and said, Well, what did you expect? You tried to brawl with him like it was a goddamn Texas roadhouse. Oh, come on, I apologized to him about that. And what did he say? Nothing. He didn't even look at me. Momo frowned. The moment she put her hand on her chin, Izuku could see that she had piqued his interest. It was a dilemma neither of them were equipped to deal with. I think you just made it worse, she said. Yeah, no kidding. Izuku huffed, throwing down his goggles. He put them head on hands, his fingers pushing past through the sloppy red hair. He had no clue how to proceed. As the days went on, Izuku began to dread going to the cave. His hope had diminished. All he could do was bring the fish to the pool and hope they wouldn't die before Kachan could get to them. If Kachan ever got to them. He was heavy with remorse. He had flown too close to the sun, too close to his desire to be closer to Kachan. Kachan had occupied every second of his waking brain and every moment of his dreams. It would have been a privilege to occupy the same space as Kachan too, but he ruined it. Momo stopped coming to the cave. She was furious with him. This was just as important to her as it was to Izuku, and she had trusted Izuku to not be an overeager idiot. He was the reason Kachan's boundaries felt violated, not her. He thought about it every day, after he dumped another cooler full of fresh fish into the pool. He sighed, watching a particularly sick-looking marble fall to the reef himself. He reached out of the dock to tap it with his fingers, and as he did, he caught sight of something white shifting in the shadows underneath him. No. Izuku tugged his hand back, sharply. The marvel turned over and swam off, disorientated at first, and then again, with renewed speed. Izuku stared at the spot to occupy frozen. He then clutched at the edge of the dock and ducked his head down, hair skimming the water. A pair of red eyes glowed back. Kachan! Deku screeched, so flabbergasted that the idiot's hand slipped, and he toppled all over the water. Katsuki startled, shifting to the side. He could flee right there and then. He hadn't anticipated to be found, and wasn't particularly eager to talk. The previous day, he had sat under the dock for literal hours, while Deku moped and roped in his nerd journal. It wasn't for any particular reason. It wasn't like Kachan missed the prior's prompts. Pretentious nerd. He just Missed the scenery. The entire pool was nice. Katsuki left the shadows of the dock as Deku bobbled back into the water, gasping, completely drenched. Deku scrambled for the dock, cursing, but the ledge was too high, and the ladder was too close to where Kachan was staring, inches closer and closer to the overhauling of the tunnels. Wait! Deku said, forearms on the plank. Katsuki didn't move. Don't leave, please. When Katsuki made no attempt to flee, Deku pushed against his arms, his legs splurging to leave the water. His torso barely made it out. Deku slumped, huffed, and gave it another shot. When he failed the second time, his third was stopped by something hanging onto the back of his shirt. Deku glanced behind him. Katsuki was shocked to find himself in range of Deku's gaze, and even to find Deku's shirt balled in his hand. Deku stilled his arms. Katsuki's jaw was tight, eyes firmed, and scowling where he stared Deku down. Deku's eyes dropped to Katsuki's hand before looking back up again. And there, away to where he was clinging at the docks, he loosened his grip on the plated wood. Deku's eyes were huge. They scanned everything from Kachan's hair to his face to the expanse of his torso and down to the length of his tail, which had swept underneath him as Kachan glided back towards the center of the pool. Deku, by default, drifted with him. Katsuki's tail whisked up, encircling Deku. While it was unnerving having someone roam free in his water, Katsuki was reassured of a few simple facts. Deku was only human, and as long as he stayed within Katsuki's tail's reach, Katsuki could handle it. He could handle having Deku tread away in his territory. He didn't particularly like the advantage Deku had with his oxygen mask, and if push came to shove, it would be easier to drown the bastard this way anyways. Deku's foot accidentally kicked his tail. Oh, sorry, Deku whispered with a nervous laugh. Katsuki narrowed his eyes, and he let go of the t-shirt. Before Deku could go on wailing and pleading about, Katsuki gave him a haft shoved in his chest. Deku jerked back under the force. He startled when his back was nudged forward by Katsuki's tail. He glanced back at it, and then to Katsuki. Katsuki grinned. Quit acting so surprised, cocky bastard. Katsuki sighed. You attacked me first. Deku's smile returned in full force. When Katsuki shoved him again, he did so with the added gesture for Deku to come back. So when Deku was nudged forward again, Deku closed the gap between them and nudged Katsuki in the chest with his forearm. Katsuki reared back, pushing Deku down. Deku went under with a laugh and came up spluttering. Their mini boxing ring ended with Deku unsuccessfully attempting to drown Katsuki, only to remember that drowning wasn't possible for Katsuki. It was all the nagging. Katsuki tossed Deku over the head, and Deku flew with his knot, flipping into the water. Deku kicked off the walls, slimmering back into Katsuki's back. Katsuki bared his teeth, a ripple of discomfort entering up his rigid spine. Deku released him at once. Sorry, I forgot you were sensitive there, Deku confessed. Katsuki elbowed him in the gut. Deku grunted, winded, and still smiling as he floated off back towards the deck. He was still wearing his shoes, after all, but they were easy enough for Katsuki to grab and just reel him back over. I'd love to keep going, Deku confessed in the face of Katsuki's annoyed expression. Deku winced. But I'm actually exhausted. Tomorrow, I'll come more prepared. Katsuki scowled. He didn't agree or disagree. But his grip on Deku's foot slackened. When Deku climbed back onto the deck, sheets of water washed over him and spattered across the wood. Deku's rolled-out shirt, and it was the first time Katsuki saw Deku's stomach. There were freckles on there, too. Deku glanced at him. Katsuki signed. Don't wear the oxygen. The oxygen? Deku repeated. You don't like my oxygen tank. Katsuki shook his head. How else am I supposed to breathe underwater? Deku said, but Katsuki had already dipped under. He felt like the air was burning him alive with embarrassment, so he's fled back to the tunnels and away from Deku's curious face. Okay, alright. We are getting progress. So clearly Katsuki just doesn't like that Izuku has so much gear. Also, that was so cute. We're getting progress. I mean, we're about to reach the middle, so it is a slow burn. I will say. It is a little bit of a slow burn. It's a little bit of slowy burn. We love slow burns in this household. Because, I mean, 9. The middle of 9, I guess, would be chapter 5 would be the absolute middle. Right? Because it would be 4 chapters this way and then 4 chapters that way. So, chapter 5 would be the middle of the story. Right? That is the middle of the story. And we're at chapter... Oh, shit, we're at chapter 3? Never mind. We're nowhere near the middle. I'm stupid. But we're rearing the middle, and there's still no romantic feelings at large. So, that's something. Oh, what the fuck did I just do? Shit. Okay, duplicate this tab, and then I have to go over here. I accidentally closed out that tab. Give me a second. Fandoms. No. History. There you go, my history. Let's see, what's in my history? So this is love, cheat code support strategist, a song to the tune of love. There it is, here it is. And then it was index chapter, it was WWD, wrestling match with Mermaid. And then I got to somehow find the goddamn place I was in. How else am I supposed to breathe underwater? Here it is. Okay, the next day. All right, there you go. I found it, let's go. No need to scour across the internet to try to find it. But this is a really interesting thing. I cannot wait to see it more. Maybe they'll spend more time with Izuku in the water, right? So that's gonna be super interesting, and I cannot wait to see that. So anyways, actually today I'm gonna go watch the My Hero Academia movie, You're Next. So I'm really excited for that. I'm super stoked. So as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.